here's my review of Alien Earth Episode 4. Honestly, this might be my favorite episode of the show so far, but one of the thing with this, I think it's just because there's so much going on in this episode. There's like 3 different things, but I found all of them to just be really fascinating. 3 completely different stories, but at the same time, all of them with very compelling characters. And what strikes me about this show, or at least this episode in particular, is like there's not that many aliens in this show. I mean, I feel like that's kind of like the shtick with these kind of shows, like, oh, we're doing a Godzilla show, but yeah, there's not that much Godzilla. Or an alien show, although you do see quite a bit of aliens, but the difference here is these characters are just so fascinating. But with here, all 3 of these character stories are just really compelling. First, we have what's going on with Wendy and how she's basically she's learning a little bit of the alien language. And of course, Boy Cavalier is very excited about that. And man, this Boy Cavalier character, he is just so scummy. But at the same time, I kind of love him. I love watching him. He's one of those characters where you love to hate him. And and Wendy is just such a fun and interesting character because of how her personality is, because of the type of character that she is. She's just fun to be around. And that's what you need for a show like this, because you have to have compelling characters when you're making a show like this, because yes, you want this cool alien action, but at the same time, it's not going to be that 100%. Like, and same with the movie. It's like, if we didn't care about Ellen Ripley, well, why would we care about the movie? But here, we care about Wendy. And just this part of the story was really compelling. And then we have what's going on between Morrow, right here, who's blackmailing Slightly to steal alien eggs. And that's another thing where I'm really fascinated in the character of Morrow right here. Like, we know he's kind of like, he's doing this all for the company. But like, what does he want with these eggs? What's he gonna do with them? And he's basically threatening his family, saying, oh yeah, just get these eggs and your family will be safe. It's just like classic, just terrifying blackmail. But at the same time, it's just fascinating because these characters are compelling. And that's what's just great, like every single like week with this show, I've been feeling is like, with great sci-fi, you could have all the massive explosions or just great horror or just visuals. But just what really just sells it's like when you have these characters that you truly care about, it just makes all of that extra stuff even better, because it's like, oh, I care about these aliens because I care about the characters. I want to know, oh, what's going to happen to these characters? Like, are the aliens going to kill them? And it just makes me think, it's like when you have great characters, it just makes for a great story to be even better. And then finally we have what's going on with Nibs, who this whole thing just makes it even more disturbing. Gave me very Poor Things vibes, if you've seen that movie, where in this episode we find out that Nibs is pregnant. And there's a big portion of this episode where she's talking with like the therapist and some of the other people who work at Neverland. It's like, oh, do you even know how babies are made? And it's got this weird, creepy undertone, to be honest, because we know these are children in all these adult bodies. Which just gives props to the actress here. She's great. And all the adult actresses are great at playing these kids. And that's just another thing where it just kind of adds more, like, once we have this big reveal, I'm like, well, what's going to happen next? I want to know, like, is she even telling the truth? Does she even really know, like, does she even know how pregnancy works? Like, it's like, and she explains it pretty well, but at the same time, it's like, it seems like this whole thing just seems so weird. Like, it gives you this weird cliffhanger. And it just kind of adds this disturbing undertone to this show. But yeah, her story was very interesting as well. And of course, you can't have an episode of Alien Earth or just any Alien franchise without having some major crazy gore horror. And here you finally see that eye alien that was teased in the trailers and early on. Oh my, when it attacks the sheep, it is just hard to watch. Anything with eye horror is just no. But yeah, it's disgusting and it's disturbing, and if you're a big horror fan, it's a lot of fun. So like, you're definitely gonna get some massive horror in this episode, and it was a lot of fun. But to me, what I'm just finding so compelling is at the end of this episode, how we see how Wendy is bonding with one of the xenomorphs. And that's just so compelling. Like, I want to know what's going to happen next, because I think Wendy's such a great character. And that's what makes the show so good, is all these characters are just really compelling. They're really fascinating. And they're characters that every week when I watch a new episode, I'm like, I want to learn more about this character. I want to spend time with these characters. And I feel like that's what this show does so well, is like, yes, this is an alien show, but at the same time, we care so much about these characters. And that's what just makes it so much fun, because it just makes the horror stand out even more, I'd say, because you're so focused on this great character work. When you see something like a sheep's, some sort of like alien eyeball squid monster going into a sheep, it just makes it pop even more, because for a minute you like forget, oh yeah, this is an alien show. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because some shows where a lot of like they're kind of like sold on one thing, but they don't tend to deliver, and it's a lot more about boring human characters. But that is not this kind of show. Here, the characters are genuinely really compelling, and yeah, I think that this might be the best episode so far. And it just left me, at the end of this episode, it just left me being like, I can't wait to see the next one.